What if everything you thought was magic was actually just science in disguise? Throughout history, humans have gazed at the world around them in absolute wonder, calling things impossible or supernatural until science came along and pulled back the curtain. Today, we are diving deep into the most jaw-dropping phenomena that seem straight out of a fantasy novel, but are 100% real, 100% explainable, and honestly, even more incredible once you understand how they actually work. Buckle up, because reality is about to blow your mind. The immortal jellyfish, nature's real-life time machine. Imagine if you could rewind your age whenever you wanted. Sounds like something out of a fairy tale, right? Well, meet Turritopsis dohrnii, a tiny jellyfish barely the size of a fingernail, and the only known animal on Earth that is biologically immortal. When this jellyfish is stressed, injured, or simply getting old, it does something extraordinary. It reverts back to its juvenile polyp stage. Not metaphorically, literally. It transforms its adult cells back into younger cells through a process called transdifferentiation, essentially hitting the reset button on its entire life cycle. Scientists around the world are fascinated by this creature because it doesn't just slow down aging, it completely reverses it. The jellyfish can repeat this cycle indefinitely. So why aren't we all immortal yet? The tricky part is that transdifferentiation in humans would require rewriting the fundamental rules of how our cells work. But researchers are studying this jellyfish closely, hoping to unlock secrets that could one day lead to breakthroughs in aging, regenerative medicine, and even cancer treatment. Magic? No. Science that sounds like magic? Absolutely. Quantum entanglement, when two particles share one soul. Albert Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance, and even he found it deeply unsettling. Quantum entanglement is the phenomenon where two particles become linked in such a way that whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. We are talking opposite sides of the planet, opposite sides of the galaxy. Distance becomes completely meaningless. Here is how it works. When two particles interact under the right conditions, they become entangled. Their quantum states become correlated. Measure the spin of one particle, and you instantly know the spin of the other, even if it is light years away. No signal travels between them. No information is exchanged in the traditional sense. It just happens simultaneously. Scientists have tested this countless times with increasing precision, and it holds up every single time. Quantum entanglement is not science fiction. It is the foundation of quantum computing and quantum cryptography, technologies that will define the next century. The universe is weirder than anyone imagined, and this is the proof. Tardigrades, the indestructible micro-animals among us. If you wanted to design the perfect superhero, you might give them the ability to survive in outer space, withstand extreme radiation, live without water for decades, and endure temperatures close to absolute zero. Congratulations, you just described a tardigrade. These microscopic animals, also known as water bears or moss piglets, are arguably the toughest creatures ever to exist on Earth. And they are everywhere, in your backyard soil, on rooftops, in glaciers, possibly right now on your skin. When conditions become hostile, tardigrades enter a state called cryptobiosis. They retract their limbs, expel almost all the water from their bodies, and essentially shut down every biological process. In this dried up state called a tun, they can survive boiling water, freezing temperatures, the vacuum of space, and doses of radiation that would kill a human thousands of times over. Scientists have revived tardigrades that had been dormant for over 30 years. They have survived being shot out of high-speed guns. NASA even sent them to space, and they came back alive. The science behind cryptobiosis could one day help us preserve human organs for transplant, store medications in extreme conditions, or even support long-duration space travel. Fire tornadoes. when nature creates its own weapons. You have seen regular tornadoes. You have seen fire. But what happens when they merge? Fire tornadoes, also called fiorinados, are not just a dramatic visual spectacle. They are terrifying atmospheric events that occur when intense heat and turbulent wind conditions combine to create a spinning vortex of flame. They can reach heights of hundreds of feet, generate winds exceeding 100 miles per hour, and burn at temperatures so extreme that they produce their own weather systems. In 2018, during the Carr Fire in California, scientists documented a fire tornado so powerful it generated its own lightning and reached wind speeds of 165 miles per hour, the equivalent of an F3 tornado packed with flame. The science behind it involves the Coriolis effect, convective instability, and the way rising superheated air creates a low-pressure vortex that draws in surrounding air and fuel. It is fluid dynamics and thermodynamics combining in the most catastrophic way possible. These events are becoming more common as climate change intensifies wildfires worldwide, making them one of the most urgent subjects in atmospheric science today. Bioluminescence, the ocean's living light show. Picture walking along a dark beach at night, when suddenly the waves crashing around your feet begin to glow an electric blue. You are not hallucinating. You are witnessing bioluminescence, one of the most visually stunning and scientifically fascinating phenomena on the planet. Bioluminescence is the production and emission of light by living organisms, and it is far more common than most people realize. Deep in the ocean, roughly 76% of all sea creatures produce some form of bioluminescent light. Fireflies do it. Certain species of fungi do it. Even some sharks do it. The chemistry behind it involves a molecule called luciferin reacting with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme called luciferase, producing light with virtually no heat, what scientists call cold light. This biological light serves many purposes: attracting prey, communicating with mates, confusing predators, and camouflaging in the deep ocean where sunlight never reaches. Scientists have harnessed the luciferase enzyme to track cancer cells in real time inside living organisms, making bioluminescence one of the most powerful tools in modern medical research. The ocean is not just a body of water. It is a living light show powered entirely by chemistry, and it has been putting on that show for hundreds of millions of years. Final thoughts. So there you have it. 5 incredible phenomena that prove reality is the greatest storyteller of all time. Immortal jellyfish. Entangled particles that communicate faster than light. Indestructible microscopic animals surviving in space. Tornadoes made of fire. And an ocean that literally glows in the dark. Every single one of these sounds like something ripped from the pages of a fantasy novel. But they are all real. They are all science. And the more we learn about the universe around us, the more extraordinary it becomes. Science is not the enemy of wonder, it is wonder with a microscope.